Hi. I'm um I'm talking about my Oh, here we go, Emily. This is my first time doing this, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Hi.
We did it.
I did it.
You did it.
It
You did.
was it
We're
was a lot
here.
of hard work, but. Oh, yeah, we did it.
Emily, is this your first live Instagram
I've
live?
I've never done this before, ever.
It's gonna be fun. I was chatting with someone else earlier today. Like we're doing it together, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, which makes it so much easier. I never would have done it if you hadn't forced me to.
Coerced you.
Coerced me, yeah. You tricked me into doing this, but that's okay.
It's great. I mean, that's what I'm here to put you a little bit past your comfort zone. And I also realize that there's so many things. Like this is something that I've realized in coaching other coaches and other teachers. There's so many things that I take for granted now that I'm like, oh yeah, like just go live on Instagram. Even though the first time you do it, it's always challenging. And there's so many things that maybe you're thinking about or don't really know that I can support with,
Yeah.
like my checklist of items that I sent you beforehand. Anyways, before we get started, I have to tell you that I pulled this card this morning and I thought it was perfect that we would be talking here today.
That is perfect.
Um,
I love it.
because I was listening back to actually one of the mastermind lectures when we had talked about, do you mind if I share this?
No, I think I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
I can
Well,
share.
very early on, when we were going through the mastermind, which is now known as the Intuitive Business Accelerator, you had told me that you wanted to use this term healer. But you had never said it before. And I was so shocked because I had seen you as a healer from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is this card speaks to the fact that whether or not we call ourselves a healer, and I know that this is like, again, this has been a term that's integral to your business, your role, your coaching programs. Um, there are many different healers out there. There are many different types of healers out there in all different professions.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, cool. Well, I'm excited to be in your space here today. Thanks for having me. And thanks to everyone who's joining us live or watching this video at a future date. I did coerce Emily into going on Instagram live with me because I wanted to chat with her. Well, I always like to chat with her, but I wanted her to share her own experience being a part of the Intuitive Business Accelerator, which is my business coaching container, which is now open for enrollment. Um, so I wanted to start, Emily, with just hearing if you can think back to, because you did this program, began last year. If you can think back to September of 2020, where you were at and what you were working on or feeling challenged with within your business.
Yeah. So I wanted to, so I guess it had just, I was strictly like one on one, and I still, for the most part, am. But I always knew that I wanted to do something different and try to do something a little more scalable and maybe have a greater reach and all those things. Like I knew I wanted to do something different, and I just didn't really know what that thing was. Um, so when you started, wanted to do the mastermind, and I also was having that thing, and I know we talked about this, where I was about to have a baby, and I knew that I was like gonna have time to think and plan because like I can't shut my brain off and I need to be like working always. And but this was like the perfect thing for me to do and join, even though only like a month of it was when I was not working. But So I knew I was going to have time to like plant seeds,
Mm-hmm.
even if it was just in my head. So it seemed like it was like perfect timing to like start new.
Yeah.
When I wasn't trying to stay afloat with the one-on-one in-person practice.
And I actually think that that is a huge part of why you experienced so much success over the last year beyond like your innate gifts and what you have to offer is that you did take that time off, that you did take that time to zoom back, and like pregnancy kind of required you to do that, and postpartum kind of required you to do that, but you were able to allow this space. And this is how we talk about it in IBA as the like conception phase for your business. And you were able to see like, what are the things that I want to offer beyond just one-on-one? How can I make this more potent? How can I reach more people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And I love also too that you share that, because sometimes there are many different coaching programs out there, especially for entrepreneurs and female entrepreneurs and coaches and folks in our world looking to grow their businesses. I think sometimes people are really afraid that it's going to be so much work. It's going to be so much time. And it certainly is a commitment. And I think building a business, growing a business, taking your business to the next level is a commitment. But you're like proof that you can also do it while having not only a new baby at home, but also a toddler.
It was wild, but it happened. So
So why did you, beyond like knowing that you had this time to step back, why did you decide to say yes? Was there anything else that was like why you decided to say yes?
um I had definitely been craving a mastermind or a
Mm-hmm.
type of business community. Um I at the time I like really didn't, because I had left where I was previously working, and I really didn't have like any kind of work community at the time. It was like just me. And and
Also,
what
2020.
and 2020, yeah. But it's funny because over the past year I've definitely started to like grow my network in a way, and like there are other practitioners in my area who I've like connected with, and like it's been amazing. So I have actually grown, I am starting to grow a bit of a community here that I had been wanting. But I wanted like people to talk business with, and like wellness business, because
Yeah.
no one close to me is doing anything remotely like what I'm doing, or
Yeah.
was at the time. So I loved that too. Like I was definitely looking for that.
Yeah. And that's like a huge, like I do one-on-one coaching, and I have done that in the past for business. But what I love about this program specifically is also the community, is that mastermind energy of, it's not just you and your ideas, or you and me as the coach. You also have this network of folks that are experiencing similar challenges to you, or looking to uh, launch programs like you or what have you. So I think that is really powerful, and something that, I don't know if most people know this, but entrepreneurship can be really lonely. It can be really lonely, especially as like a solopreneur, or if you're in the wellness world, but like other folks that maybe you're in real estate. Like that's a very different realm. So I'm glad to hear that that was something that you were seeking, and also something that you're continuing to cultivate.
Mm-hmm.
You've continued to grow your business.
Yeah, and another thing, I just thought of another one. Well, now especially that you're calling it the intuitive business, um, you are, right? What is it called now? Intuitive business.
Business Accelerator, formerly known as the Stellar Mastermind, for
Right.
anyone who's been around for a while or
So,
hears.
I wanted to move towards like intuitive, like running my business intuitively and from like a feminine standpoint, as opposed to the masculine, like work really hard and work long hours, because I don't want to work a 40-hour work week. And I've been very clear about that from the beginning. Like I don't want to do that.
Amazing.
I work 3 days a week.
Shout it from the rooftops. Like, say it proudly. I don't want to work a 40-hour work week either, except
So,
very rare circumstances.
like I definitely wanted to be working and like very happy to be working. I am very happy to be working. I could never be like a full-time stay-at-home mom, but I wanted to be like a semi stay-at-home mom. And like you know, be able to like pick up and drop off my kids from places and like be home some days, not every day. So and that's like what's happened. So it's been really great, and it's been, you know, good as a mom, and like being able to. And even if I didn't have kids, I probably still wouldn't want to work 40 hours a week. But
Yeah. I mean, the truth is, like, I don't think a lot of people do work 40 hours a week, even if they are in a 40-hour a week position. And so when we can learn to be, and this also goes back to, like, you were very clear, this is my definition of success. This is how I want to run my business. And we both have a shared past of being in a more corporate role and being in a more like 9-to-5 job. Stepping away from that and being able to choose and really say with confidence, like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to, how I want to be working.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was another question. Oh, I just want to say hello to everyone who's joining live. There's people popping on, popping off. We are here. I'm chatting with Emily. Emily participated. I'm also Emily. Emily participated in my business coaching program, the Intuitive Business Accelerator, last year. The program is currently open for enrollment, and I'll be sharing more about that on my page, on my website, so you can check that out. But here today, I'm just trying to hear, well, I know her experience, but we're trying to share her experience. So if you have any questions for her and about the program, you can ask them. So I'm curious, like, what were your biggest takeaways or your favorite parts of participating in the group and in the program?
Well, it definitely. I just love like having the thing to join, you know, once a month. And then I loved having the structure. So like I knew I wanted to start to do some kind of program.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had been wanting to do something for like years. And so it was like finally it was like, and it was like we went through, I don't know if the structure is going to be the same, but it was like
Yeah, it basically is. Yeah.
every month it's like, okay, now we're gonna like have your idea, like what are you gonna do? And then the next month was, you know, marketing for, I don't remember the order, but like maybe like the launch, marketing, I don't remember,
Finances, content creation.
yeah. So like, and it was like I took those to-dos really seriously, and I actually did that. So like when we were talking about the launch, like I launched. When we were
You did, girl. You took it and you ran with it.
I really followed Virgo in me, I guess. Like I needed that structure, and I needed someone to be like, okay, this is what you do and this is how you do it. And I was like, okay, and like then I did it. But when I was left to my own devices and like my own like daydreams about what to do, like it never was gonna happen. So I needed that.
I think that's important to hit on. And like, I know that you attribute it to like your Virgoan nature, but I think that there's some people may be able to bootstrap this all by themselves, but it's exhausting. It's exhausting, especially now that there's so much information on the internet about businesses and entrepreneurship and mindset and launching. And like, there's so much information out there kind of with the wellness world and well-being, is you almost need someone, or you can move through things easier and faster if you have someone to sort through it. Someone who can say, yes, do this to-do item, focus on this. And that's what I've distilled into the mastermind is I've been working in this wellness world, and I was a health coach at the beginning, but very quickly was working more on the business side of things, working with another coach and then running my own business, helping other coaches and wellness practitioners build and scale their businesses. And these were the things that I saw were really key that maybe you were taught in your training, but probably not.
I wasn't at all.
Yeah. And depending on like what training you went through, you know, some yoga teacher trainings tell you a little bit about the business of yoga. A lot don't. Some nutrition programs talk to you a little bit about they talk to you about online marketing, but it's not until you're in it and you're actually like working in it that you can put it into action and understand what your questions are even about it.
I think because my degree is in like clinical, my degree is a clinical degree.
Yeah.
So it went on to teach you how to do one-on-one. And
Yeah.
that thing, I think in my school there was like a community type track,
Mm-hmm.
but I just didn't take that track. So maybe that would have had a little bit more about like the marketing group setting side of things, but like how to like market online, like none of that
Yeah.
at all. And I want to say too, I did also really when we did like shadow work and like that like opened things up for me big time. Like I think that's when that's how I like had my original idea. Was
Yeah.
like November when we like did like imposter syndrome, like going beyond that. Like that was really helpful for me too. I definitely left with like much more confidence in like what I'm doing and yeah.
That's amazing. And that's like, there are these practical tools like knowing what a launch is and how you can execute one, or how you want to market yourself, or how to manage your finances. Those are practical tools. And also, some of the things that hold us back are these mindset pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have this space at the beginning before we jump into like, put your program out there. Like, this is not a launch your course in 6 weeks and make 10K. Um,
No.
if you want to do that, go somewhere else.
Like I don't think I joined for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, that in my head, like, oh, I'm gonna do this and launch a group program. Like that was never even in my head. That's not why I did it. It's just what I got out of it, I guess.
Well, and also that had been something that had been brewing in you, and because you were able to move some of the blocks around your own shadow, or integrate these pieces, understand the root of your imposter syndrome, and get more confident in your ability as a healer, then it was easier to put that out in the world. And not to mention, like, you had me there with you along the way when you were doing the free workshop, when you were going through the launches, like you had someone to support you through this. I mean, it's really impressive to do that. It's really hard or scary to put yourself out there in that way. It can be, but it's a lot easier when you have that support.
Totally.
Um, do you mind sharing, like, you don't have to share exactly what came up for you, but I'm curious what the shadow work piece, and that's what we do in the second module of the Intuitive Business Accelerator, which falls in Scorpio season. So it's all about going into depths and getting into the truth of things, examining the shadow. But I'm just curious as to your experience, like when you were able to, had you done shadow work before?
A little bit. But I had, yes. But I guess different things came up. It was,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I'll share. It wasn't like totally clear, but it definitely like roundabout way led to it. I think what came up for me was like more about dealing with the side of me that's like very anxious and almost like mental health. Because I started thinking about like, okay, so why am I into wellness? Like, what was the reason why I initially started doing this? and
Mm-hmm.
thought about myself 10 years ago. And I was like, I was a mess. I was a mess. I was anxious. I cried like 10 times a day. I still cry a lot, but it's different vibe now. But, but so a lot of it has to do with like it had to do with my emotional health, not really my mental. I mean, yeah, not my physical. Like, yeah, they're connected, but that shadow side that I was really hiding was like anxiety side, like the mental health issues that I had been struggling with like most of my life. And then, so I was like, okay, so that's the side that I have to embrace, right? Because it's part of me. And then I was like, so, and then that somehow, and then I guess my original idea was like, okay, it's going to be about mental health. It
Mm-hmm.
didn't end up being about mental health, but it was more just about like the connection of mind, body, and spirit, and all of the things that I had done and learned, and I guess put in my own toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, well, this is what makes me feel good. So I'm just going to turn that into a program. And that's what I did.
Well, also, as I'm hearing you talking, and this is something that I've seen in myself, but in a lot of clients, is that the result we think we're giving is, or the result we're giving, the transformation we're offering is not always what we market. And it often is deeper. Like, as the coach, as the teacher, as the healer, there's been something that you've moved through and you've seen through your journey, like what was really at the root of it. So you can help someone go through that. Um, it's almost like you know what they need even more than they do. But also that contradicts like everything both of us teach about with intuition, but they do work together
Yeah.
because you help someone connect more deeply to their intuition and they can have those big revelations like, oh yeah, like my excess weight, like for example, like what do people come to you for? Food allergies, weight, like what is their issue that they come to you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the funny thing is, and this is reminding me, people don't come to me for mental health things.
Yeah.
They come to me for autoimmune disease. They come to me for like serious health issues, like
Yeah.
issues. I mean, really kind of all over the board. I feel like I'm like your people's like last stop for like when they've like tried everything else and they're like, okay, fine, I'll do the natural thing or like the woo woo thing or whatever. And then, like thyroid issues, like hormone stuff. But there's like a common thread among most people who come in to see me, and it's stress, anxiety, depression. It's always like they like don't write it down, but then we start talking about it and they're like, "Oh yeah, you know, yeah, I like really like I'm on Lexapro," or like, and it just like as an afterthought. And I'm like, "Okay, well that's big because stress leads to all of these health issues." And it's like, so then I realized that I had to start like really addressing this side of things, which like initially through my training I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
taught to address. It was like a purely physical method. But then once I brought the mental, emotional, spiritual into it, that's like when it started really working.
And
Uh,
it also sounds like because you were able to see that this was actually what was going on in your journey and what was helpful for you, that you could work with people on a deeper level. You can talk to them about the foods and do the nutrition response testing to get them on the supplements. And also because you had seen and integrated that piece of your story, that you could see and help them integrate and work through that piece of their story.
exactly. Yeah. So it was very eye opening and amazing.
Well, I want to, I know we've talked a little bit about you launching, and you launched a program. Will you share just briefly like what that was and what that experience was like for you?
Yeah. So the program was called Be Your Own Healer, and it was no, I love it. And it was a 6-month program, and every 2 weeks or 2 calls a month, there was a group call where we would just talk about a different topic. And about half of them were like nutrition, physical, so like hormone imbalances, gut health. They were like very, like the science side. But then also like basic nutrition, how to build a plate, like that type of stuff. But then on the off week, it would be like intuition, like chakras 101, like different, different type of, I'm like drawing a blank on what meant, like law of attraction we did.
You were bringing, like, just like we talked about, you're bringing the both physical health, but also the energetic, emotional health.
Yeah. Oh, emotion code we did, like emotion code healing. So yeah, just, so it kind of like hit all that whole holistic, all the holistic bases. So, and yeah, it was amazing.
What was like, did you get the number of people in the program that you wanted? Like, how was it to like run a group like that? I mean, 6 months is no joke. It's not just a workshop or like a 2-part series, like 6 months of, and how many people did you have in the group?
11 people ended up signing up.
Oh, amazing.
I
That's
for like for like a first thing, that was great. Like I never expected it. Like I expected it to be me, my sister, and my cousin.
like,
And then like, people started coming out of the woodwork, and I was like, wait, you want to sign up for my thing? And it's something, and it was good doing it. So like, and one thing that you made clear to me, that, so I always thought it was like, okay, I'm going to have this group program, but I'm going to have to like create it first. Program, like I'm going to have to create it.
You're going to have to film all the videos and have all
Yeah.
the mapped out. And
It's another block for me that like was going to make me never do it. So like we, discussed, I created the container, and I was like, this is what we're going to be talking about. These are the dates. This is the timeline. And so it was like every couple weeks, like then I would like, I would decide what to say like the day or two before, because I'm definitely better under pressure when I need to like write something or do something. It's like studying for a test, right? So like, which was like fun. It was like a fun test to study for. But so, so like doing that made it so doable for me, because I could just, and then I could just talk.
yeah. And that's something we call seed launching, and we do go over in the launching module. And it's what I would suggest for almost anyone launching a workshop or a program or something, for like one of the first things, because yes, you do the work you set the intention, you named the group, you introduce like what was going to be the transformation that people would experience. But then once you called in the folks that were meant to be there, you could also tune into your intuition and teach from what you were feeling connected to, and also what they needed. Again, I think is a really powerful way, and also a smart way, because like you didn't go out and spend a bunch of money filming videos for something that maybe no one signs up for.
Right. And I mean, now I have a lot of recorded videos.
Yeah. So what's your plan? Do you think you'll launch it again? You'll run the program again?
I will run it again. Probably. Right. Because I feel like, well, at the same time, my one-on-one practice like more than doubled. So, like I need to like, I need to like, focus on that a little bit, and just like get like housekeeping things done now that I have like a little more free time, now that it's September. But I think January I'll do it again. I like messed up with recording them. I did not record them on speaker view. Everyone, if you're ever recording something, record it on speaker view.
Yeah.
Because like post on Teachable, like a gallery view thing that I'm teaching.
Well, and those are things we learn. And sometimes, like, especially if you learn that you are better under pressure or live, and something I'm super stoked about the Intuitive Business Accelerator this next round is that I am doing everything live. The videos are awesome. And I did record them all on speaker view. Like, I could reuse them. I go back to some of them and I'm like, this is so good. Like, this is such good content. But I also want to feel connected to the group, and I'm excited to teach the material again and improve upon it, and also teach with it in the mind of like, this will then become evergreen. And so perhaps maybe you'll do that too, or even do a combination of like
I
live.
do a combination because I know I have some that are like good. So maybe I'll like use it as a bonus, and then if I have another topic I want to cover, I don't know,
You'll figure it out.
figure it out.
Um,
That's what time I figured it out, which is like, and which was great, which is what I needed to do.
Amazing. Last little question, and then if anyone else joining here has a question for Emily, if you have a question for me about the program, I'll answer some shortly, but also just go to my profile, go to my website. There's all the information there, and I'll be sharing more like what is included, who this is for later this week. But if you have a question specifically for Emily, please feel free to put it in the comments. Emily, and if there's anything you want me to talk to or have questions for me, but I'm curious if you like anything you'd want to say to somebody who might be considering this, who is sitting in your shoes where you were a year ago today, but is still like maybe on the fence or not sure if this is the right time, the right fit for them.
I mean, I definitely think it's worth the investment. If like, I feel like that's what people are normally hesitant about is like the money.
Mm-hmm.
Your business isn't going well and you don't have that much or not making that much.
Yeah.
You end up making it back, right? So it's like, just do it.
Yeah.
And it's worth it because you end up just because I definitely went from like figuring things out to like being there.
Like you're in flow with your business right now.
Oh, now I feel like I've been waiting for the past like 5 years to feel like I like made it. You know that feeling when you're like, oh, I made it? And I feel like I felt like I was in like the investment phase, the trying phase,
Mm-hmm.
the growing phase for like ever. For
Yeah.
like I quit my public accounting job 8 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't even remember at this point. But like since then, I like have been working towards something
Mm-hmm.
instead of just like, and like I feel like I'll always be like that. Like I'll always be working towards something and wanting to change something. That's just in my nature. But like now I just wanted to feel successful. Like I just wanted to feel like I made it.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I made it. I feel it.
Amazing. That I mean, that's like the number. That's the biggest indicator of success. Is not a number. Is not a number of dollars of clients. It's not a number of speaking gigs or programs sold. It's you feeling that way. And yes, there are phases of extreme growth and then like more settling into our business, but like I'm so happy to hear that you're in this place because I know that you're helping so many people, and when you feel in your business and like you're in the right place and that you're doing the things to help it move and grow, then you're able to ultimately help more people and just feel better in your life.
Yeah, like we're talking about group programs right now, but I don't think you have to be doing a group program to join. Like
No.
be doing anything. I could have just been wanting to, grow my one-on-one situation. And everything's still applicable
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up too, because group programs, I think we maybe touch on it, but it's also not the focus of the program of the Intuitive Business Accelerator. And in fact, most folks are more in that beginning stage. Had been seeing one-on-one clients for a while, so you were a little bit more unique in that sense. But running a group isn't necessarily something I suggest for folks right off the bat. But if you want to do that, we can certainly talk about it and make it happen like it did for Emily. Anything else that you want to share, or anything else that you want to
I'm
ask?
trying. I feel like we kind of hit a lot of it.
How are you feeling post in at the end of your first Instagram live?
Good. I mean, I wasn't nervous, believe it or not. So
I
I'm,
do believe that. You were confident in your text back to me. You're like, I got this, even though I'm not super tech savvy.
I'm definitely less nervous doing this stuff too. Like, even though I don't do it, like, I'm cool. Maybe it's because I've been putting myself on live Zoom calls, you know? And like, maybe that's why I'm like, no big deal. Whereas I would be like freaking out last year.
Well, I also think, Em, it's because you have looked at your shadow. You've really worked on that self-worth, because oftentimes, and you've also worked on finding your voice and what you're here to offer and what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people are not comfortable in front of the camera, or the tech stuff does throw them off. I get that. But everything becomes so much easier when you're connected to your worth, when you're connected to your value, and when you know really like who you are.
Yeah, it totally could have been because I just wasn't, I was like insecure
Mm-hmm.
and I was scared of being judged and like wasn't like, I don't know, strong in like what I was doing. And I've also changed the way I've been doing things,
Yeah.
right? Like, and we've talked about that. Like, I was doing things another person's way before, and then now I'm doing things my way, and it is just so much easier
Amazing.
to like live through that.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
But
Well, I so appreciate you. And especially if folks are finding this through you, they should reach out to you to ask any questions about the Intuitive Business Accelerator. Like I said, you can come check out my profile. Everything's linked. And I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart, so usually things are very clear as to what's included, the dates, the scheduling, how to sign up. But if they have questions, can they reach out to you?
yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. So thank you so much for your time, and thanks to everyone joining live. And hopefully we're going to get this replay so that we can both post it on our feeds.
Yes, that's the next tech challenge that I have to go through right now. So,
Flow. When you hit X, and anyone else watching this replay or watching this video that hasn't done an Instagram live, go slow when you cancel it. And then there is a moment where it's like share to your IGTV, which you can choose to do, but you want to save to your camera roll first. Like, just look for that option first.
save to my camera roll first, then
And
I'm just save to my IGTV.
yeah, and if you don't save it to your IGTV, that if you have it on your camera roll, you can always upload it later.
Okay.
All right.
Woo, sounds good.
Here we go.
Pressure. Going slow.